Hey y'all, Chris here. Gonna address another question that I get asked a lot, and that's how many ducks I get out of a roll of filament, or how much filament do I use on a duck. Give you some examples. This guy right here, small. Depending on how I make them, different files are different. Anything that is on our website, we do a 15% infill to make them a little thicker, a little tougher. Sometimes we'll thicken up the walls depending on the design, whatever. Stuff that I take on a ship with me to give away, I do less infill, make them a little lighter so that I'm not overweight on my luggage going to the airport. But these ones here, this size, I'm going to probably get, well, I'll say maybe 40 out of a roll of filament, give or take a little bit. But obviously the next size up, I'll have, maybe 15 to 20. But if I go this size, then this is for the Oasis, I'm going to get a little over 2 of these per roll of filament. So I have significantly more filament in these big ones. So it, plus the walls are a little thicker, just the bigger they are, the thicker you got to make them so that they don't break and crack. But obviously things like these, I can print hundreds of these little guys. I'm always printing these. I have bins full of just assorted colors and designs that I will then fill up bags with and take them on different cruises. That way I can have an assortment, with the exception of, like, these are specifically made for Utopia in December. I'll put a little Santa hat on them. Obviously I'll take all of those on this particular cruise, but kind of give you a little bit of example as to how much I'm using on filament. And obviously depending on the filament, some are cheaper than others. These bamboo multicolor AMSs here, they take their own specific rolls here that the OD is just slightly different size than most other brands. However, I do have a few other brands that I found that I can use in those. They just don't work quite as good. But also the AMS, if you're using the rolls of bamboo, it comes with a chip in it. So once you put it in there, it spools up and it knows what color and what type of filament's already in there. You don't have to program anything. So that is super helpful if you're using one of those. But cardboard rolls, do not work in there. I mean, I can get some to work, but over time as it's rolling, you get all that cardboard dust down in there and it'll jam stuff up. So I just do not even do it. But that was just a question I get a lot from a lot of people of, how much filament I'm using. My wife actually just a couple of days ago got our total for the year on what we bought on filament between Amazon and Bamboo and a few other websites. But so far in 2024, I'm just about $15,000 in filament that I've bought. Almost every bit of that is ducks that have been given away on the cruise ships, or stuff that I have in the bins all around here. Sorry, I still can't kick this cough I've had for weeks. But I do make stuff and give stuff away to friends and family and stuff like that. And my actual job, I do make little deals with the company logo on it and all that stuff to give out to customers to kind of drum up business. But I do not, like, I maybe have $200 worth of filament in that throughout the year. I don't make a lot of those. It's just kind of occasionally I do. And then I'll keep them in my truck. And when I go to an oil rig, I'll hand them out. But almost all of that has just been strictly on 3D printing for cruises and stocking up for, if people do buy stuff. But I go through a lot, but I'm also making a lot. My printers are running 24/7 when I'm home. When I'm not, I will periodically think about it, and I'll call home and say, hey, can somebody clean off the printer, and I'll restart it from my phone. That way I can keep stuff going, and they'll pile it up on my desk, usually in baskets. And I will, when I get home, I'll kind of clean stuff up. These are just waiting on key rings. I've got 2,000 key rings on order, that 1,000 of them are from Amazon that should be here tomorrow. Another 1,000 I ordered weeks ago from Temu, and it's still sitting there. So lesson learned on buying stuff from Temu. I never get it in time. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for the amount of filament that I do use. And I do keep a fair amount stocked up. Now, I will say, out of what I have, what I've bought for the year and what I still have, I probably got $1,000 worth of filament sitting there, if not maybe a little more. Just the bottom 2 rows are all bamboo. This is generics. So, sorry, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. This is generics. Those are bamboo. And I do think bamboo makes a great quality filament. However, I'm not a fan of their multicolor filament. I have had that stuff mess up in the machines way too much. Now, when I did order it, I ordered a bunch of it all around the same time in different colors, so I don't know if there was just some bad batches or what. I will try it again at a later date. I just kind of was giving it some time before I ever order any more. I've had very good luck with a few other brands on Amazon, and that's usually just trial and error, and I kind of make a mental note of which ones I like and don't like. I'm definitely a bigger fan of the plastic rolls versus the cardboard. Plastic, one, because some of those will work in my bamboo AMSs, and then also when they are on like the mini, or if I'm using them on the Quiddy, they will on that roller, the cardboard sometimes doesn't like to spin real well versus the plastic. So I've helpful tip there. I mean, just personal preference, but trial and error on yourself. We'll figure out what you like and don't like. So anyway, that's all I wanted to jump on and say, just for those who ask me, because I get asked that question quite a bit. And a lot of it's just trial and error. Figure out what you like, don't like, as far as brands and quality of filament and all that stuff. But yeah, I do go through a lot of filament. But if a guy is trying to, well, actually, I'll give you an example here. These little medium ducks, I can probably get 80 or more out of a roll of filament on those. They don't take much. I don't have a lot of infill in those. These little small ducks, these ones here, I can get I can get hundreds of those out of a roll of filament, assuming I don't have a lot of mess ups. When I make the little ones, I'll put a whole sheet of them. There might be 40 of them on a sheet or so, and occasionally I'll get a few of them that'll mess up in the print, and then it'll kind of make a mess. I'll still get the bulk of them that'll be usable, and then I'll throw a lot away. So that's the downfall to printing a bunch of small ones at a time. But I also don't like just printing a couple of the small ones at a time, because then I'm constantly switching the machine in and out, and like, I've got stuff I'd rather be doing than sitting here switching stuff out all the time. Like, I'll hang out in here and babysit, make sure everything's running good, but I would prefer to be doing other stuff and not sitting here switching out print jobs every 30 minutes. But just my 2 cents on it. Whatever you guys can take from that.